What is up, guys? We are going into game number 2 on Holy Island. It's Don Artie spawning in over here as the English, playing against Cyark as the Chinese. So who will get this leg up in the second game after Don was able to take the first with HRE versus Abbasid on good old dry Arabia? Thanks for the follow, Knowledge. Both are going with the pretty typical water opening. However, Don playing it a little safer, going for back wood line, not the front and closer wood line. So we'll delay him up a little bit, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. There are a significant amount of sheep on this map, so who will get the majority of that plethora? It doesn't matter too much early on as water is the main focus, but later in the game, sheep could be a nice food source to fall back on that's always safe and secure under that town center. As the Chinese, you usually put it next to a mill, that way you can start gathering the tax, but all of the wood focus right now for Cyark, for Don Artie, is going to be in this dock, is going to be into this fishing eco, boom this up, get to feudal age, and go ahead and get as many galleys and light junks out as you can onto the map to deny your opponent's fishing, because if you secure deep water fish, you win the game. That's what we have seen time and time again from these pros, and I'm sure that is what we will see again from this game. So how will Cyark, how will Don Artie be able to get a leg up on their opponent? Sometimes you see an outpost, sometimes you see a little bit of military pressuring some of those villagers that produce the wood and gold, which is what you need for those military ships. It's one way to get your leg up. As the English, you're able to produce a little bit cheaper, I believe is what it is now, and so that's a nice leg up. But the Chinese is able to produce a little bit faster with their construction bonus. So each civ's going to have their bonuses. One thing that I will say is that English can get that outpost front and forward. Outposts do a significant amount of damage to ships. Well, I guess English isn't the only one. Chinese can do the exact same. IO comes out, it's going to start supervising that lumber camp, as well as be able to gather up some of that tax gold whenever he needs it. As you saw, it just grabbed 35 out of that, start supervising that up. 40 is the max, so usually you want to be nice and efficient with those trips with 40. 3 fishing boats versus 3 fishing boats, so pretty dead even on this opening. As we know, the water is pretty boring to start. It's going to be a little bit of time before the action starts happening, but once the action starts happening, it will get going fast, and the game usually gets decided pretty quickly. You kind of start seeing that writing on the wall from who can end up securing up the fishing and can secure up the water. It's basically like a second TC, even third TC if you get multiple docks out. Village being dropped by Cyark, able to jump inside the village, so not as much pressure going to be able to come down on the wood line, as he will have multiple sources to jump inside, not only the TC but also the village. The village does not fire back though, but will be a nice safety point. Scout moves out for Cyark, trying to be annoying on that single villager on the shoreline fish, which you actually like to have out there because it secures a quite fast food gathering rate, actually the fastest in the game. So, denied off of that. Don will be able to start firing back with these villagers. 4 villagers can start firing down with the English on top of a scout, so Cyark will need to be quite safe with that. Don using his scout to burn down the village, but in reality I think he's just utilizing this to get some nice vision on the opposite side. Fishing just boosting up for either of these players. There we go. As I mentioned, Don, he's going to keep mining, and every now and then he just turns, fires down, keeps mining, and can just turn and fire down. Scout already down to 33 health, so needs to be quite careful about that. And Don sending more villagers out onto the gold, going to have a nice balance between wood and gold, getting all of his food from the fishing in the middle now, because he wants as much wood and gold as he can. Like I was talking about, it's going to be all about that transition into the water. As I say that, second dock starts going down. Chinese able to age up as well. getting that Imperial Academy close. He's going to be able to start popping out Imperial officials, which will give the eco on the land an extra boost. We'll be able to gather up some more tax gold and supervise the mining camp, as well as he's already doing on the lumber camp and the mill if he desires. Next stock being dropped for Syark as well, a little bit closer to Don's side. You would expect these to start being those military ships, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see Don just put 1 or 2 longbows out on the map just to put a little bit of pressure, see if he can cause a little bit of a reaction. First things first though, galley immediately queued up. We'll start trying to dive the fishing on the opposite side. Syark hasn't quite been able to finish his Imperial Academy. We'll need a couple more seconds from that. Galley still has 24 seconds in queue left, whereas these junks, they only take 29 seconds. They just aren't going to be as good of a military ship as the galleys are. Syark needs to be careful with these scouts. More villagers here, the faster this scout's going to end up going down. 1, 2 longbows pop out. Is that going to be it? Did I just call it? Am I a big brain caster? I might just be. 2 longbows pop out. He has more than enough resources to continue to queue them up, but is not desiring to do so. Is mainly focusing on the galleys, so might just move forward with the galleys, start denying some of the fishing, and at the same time have 2 longbows start denying some of this gold. Villagers on the front wood line immediately decide to make the safe transition back to the wood line in the backside. However, Don is already spotting that out with his own scout. At the same time, spots out the horseman that comes out, so will need to pull back with his 2 longbows that he came out with. The reaction that I was talking about had already come out from Syark, and Syark can actually turn and use these horsemen to try to pressure down the dock and take down the dock potentially, and force some galleys to not deny the fishing, but instead run on home. 2 light junks are out for Syark, but the bigger problem for him is those galleys can just ignore the junks for the time being and do exactly as you see Don doing and try to deny this fishing. They're so tanky, they can take up damage for quite some time. First fishing boat goes down. Galley still at 3/4 health. We'll be able to take down a couple more fishing boats if before it goes down, if it even does go down. What Don can end up doing is once this gets to about a 1/4 health, he can end up pulling it back, but has more reinforcing galleys coming back through. Tons of horsemen starting to come out. Don, at the same time, has already reacted with the barracks, getting some spearmen out and getting a few more longbows as well. Galley able to stay alive, and second galley comes up in help. Mass of light junks, coming out, or just regular junks coming out to try to take down these galleys. But again, the galleys just focus on the fishing. Once you've denied a ton of this fishing, you can just go and be defensive with the galleys under your dock. Let them heal up, and you can be the defender, as you know you have just given yourself the big eco advantage. Horseman that tried to move forward and raid immediately denied, and Don can actually transition this and turn back exactly to the other side. Low health galley might end up going down for Don, as he has found himself in a little bit of a predicament. Not the greatest positioning. The second low health galley found his way back home and is safe and secure. 10 health left. Oh, and the galley goes down, which is a huge pickup. There's 6 junks out on the map versus 3, I believe 3 galleys. It is 3 galleys versus all that mass of the junks. I still believe that the galleys win, especially if they're playing defensively. Don has another one queued on up, so it's about to be 4 to 6 matchup. Don should easily be able to clear that up. It just takes so much time to end up taking down some of those military fishing boats. At the same time, Don is being the one to start being the aggressor on the ground. It's 41-27 versus 38-18. So Don is winning in the regards of military and winning in the regards of eco. Needs to watch out for this galley. He has 3 galleys nice and close. He can easily win this fight, like I was mentioning. Just needs all 4 together. Goes ahead, makes the turn. Focusing down all on the one, getting healing from the dock, could also use healing from his fishing boats as well. Needs to make sure that galley doesn't go down, and it does. Don, a little bit of oversight here with his fishing boats on the ground, but has denied the gold, takes down a villager on gold, which means less junks coming out on the opposite side. 3 docks working versus 2 though, so we'll have a significant advantage in that regards, but needs to still be able to produce out of those docks. Fishing boats come to heal up, doing exactly what I was mentioning they needed to do earlier. So Don is the one who's starting to lose his fishing, but at the same time, he should start to clear up all of these junks on the map. Needs to back off of the fishing now that he has denied a couple of those junks and has the advantage on the actual military boats. Ram being dropped front and center. There's only 1 archery range, 1 stables, only 2 horsemen out compared to 7 spears and 9 longbows. But how much will this ram be able to do with the way that the new town center works? Pros are so much better at kiting back and forth with this. 11 junks versus 4 galleys, 5 galleys. Don needs to back off this, and not only does he need to back off this, he needs to end up building another dock most likely. Don spots the battalion, immediately decides to turn back away and should queue up another galley or 2. Ram moves forward, starts to take down one of those villages that Cyark has, but building another one on the backside, so won't be too much. This does hurt though. The more buildings that he can end up taking down, the more wood that ends up having to go to infrastructure rather than where it needs to go, which is the sea. Couple more galleys have come out for Don, but is it going to be enough? It's a 6 versus 11. But that that amount of junks is starting to get to the number where it does a good amount of damage to these galleys. Even though they are tankier, even though they do more damage, it might just be a bigger struggle. Blacksmith has also come out, and Don is just now starting to get those upgrades. But look at what those longbows are doing on the wood line. Absolutely crushing the wood line. Not only are they crushing the wood line, they are taking down Imperial officials, which are such an important unit. 2 Imperial officials have gone down. Galleys on the backside for Don are starting to do their defense, starting to do their job. It's 5 galleys, and the junks are starting to thin out. Remember, the junks couldn't keep being produced because gold was denied for so long of a time. Archers running in to just die for Cyark as well. He's got 4 archers versus 7 longbows, and an outpost is coming down forward to give himself that network of castles bonus. Longbows remass up together. 43 total economy for Cyark, whereas Don is at 43 as well. But Cyark, he knows he's not going to be able to do it. He just lost the whole entire, was losing the whole entire fleet, and Don is making quick work of Cyark with a 2-0 lead. Only 13 minutes that it took him right there. Just shows the ability of English to be able to balance the water and the land. Thanks everyone for checking out this next Don Artie game. Throw the sub button and go ahead and get ready for the next Don Tent game that we're covering.